Hi friends, welcome to my channel, and as promised in a previous video I'm going to show you this deck of cards here called the Kabbalah Cards, which I've had for a very long time. The box is a bit battered, but yeah, everything inside's fine. So this is the Kabbalah Cards by Paul Rowland and Sylvia Gainsford, and it says, using the ageless wisdom for guidance, insight and greater self-awareness. So that's the front of the box, sides and the back. And it says on the back, let's just have a little read. Kabbalah is the ancient Jewish mystical system which promises to reveal the nature and purpose of existence. Kabbalah teacher and author Paul Rowland has created a unique set of Kabbalah cards to introduce its principles, which form the foundation of the Western esoteric tradition, in a simplified and practical form. By using the cards in spreads similar to those in tarot readings, you can discover the underlying themes of your life and the means by which you can overcome difficulties and make the most of your opportunities. The cards can also be used in meditation for a journey of self-exploration, using the Kabbalistic tree of life as a symbolic map of the psyche. And we've got a few examples of the cards on the back. There's the ISBN, and I don't even know actually if this is still around, this website. Possibly. It's an AGM Muller deck, and let's have a little look. So the inside of the box is just nothing. There's nothing on the inside. We get a little book. Let's put that to one side. I'm afraid the sun's going to be coming out again. In and out, in and out. Never mind. We will cope. Okay, so it comes with a little book, which is in a landscape format. Yeah, like this. We've got a front piece card there. The Tree of Life on the back and the website. And then we've got the World of Tarot AGM Muller card. Is that beautiful? Look at that. I presume that's the strength card. And it says Carter Monday, Urania, AGM Muller. We get also a fold out sheet, which I showed before. It's just huge, this is, but it's the Tree of Life. And it's basically, it's just got the Sephiroth in it. So that's quite useful if you've got the space to actually lay cards out on, just to see a visual representation. There are 33 cards in the deck. There are one for each Sephiroth and then one for each path on the Tree of Life. So let's go through the cards one by one. If you can hear talking in the background, I do apologise. My neighbours are out in the garden because the sun's coming in and out, and so they're making the most of it. So I do apologise, but here we go. So this is the Tree of Life here. So let's go, in the book, they go from the bottom to the top of the tree. But I thought we'd go from the top to the bottom because it makes more sense to me, because that's the way they are numbered. So they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we've got this one in the abyss, and this one is dark, so that's the one in the abyss there, and that's assigned to Pluto. So if you start at number 1 and Keter and Neptune, and that's the crown, and that's a beautiful depiction of where we're all from and where we all want to ascend to. Then for the second, we have Chokhmah, which is wisdom. This one assigned to Uranus. Then we have Binah, assigned to Saturn. And Binah is about understanding. After Bina, we go to Hesed. And this is mercy, keyword. Assigned here to Jupiter. Number 5, it's got Gevura, or Gevura. And this is severity, assigned to Mars. Then in the middle of the Tree of Life here we have beauty, or Tiferet, and assigned to the Sun. On the 7th we have Netzach, victory. And this one assigned to Venus. At number 8 we have Hod. And this is splendour, assigned to Mercury. Yesod, number 9, and this is about foundation, assigned to the Moon. And then finally Malkut at number 10, and this is Earth. So beautiful, beautiful cards there for the Sephiroth. And, you know, a nice visual representation when working with the Tree of Life or working with the Thoth Tarot as well, which is how I sort of intend to use these cards in my Thoth explorations. So those are the cards assigned to the Sephiroth. But then we have the paths between those Sephiroth, where the rest of the cards lie. The numbered cards lie on the Sephiroth, so 1 to 10. So all the aces are at Keter, then all the 2s are at Chokmah, 3s are at Binah, the 4s are at Hesed, the 5s are at Gebura, the 6s are at Tibereth, 7s at Netzach, the 8th at Hod, 9th at Yesod, and all the 10s are at Malkut. But in between those, we've also got the major arcana cards, and we've also got the court cards are assigned as well, which he doesn't go into in this deck, I don't think. I'll have a little look. So he's assigned these cards to those paths. So that's sort of how they correlate together, how they work together along the paths on that Tree of Life. So these paths here. So we would have, for instance, Malkut is Earth, which is this one here. Hod is Mercury, so that's path 8, Sephiroth 8. So it's this path here would then be this card here. This path here would then be this card here. So that's how they'd sort of correlate. Now, we could also look at it planet-wise, couldn't we? So Mercury together with Earth and what those energies encompass. So that would be another way to work with this deck, actually, a nice way to work with this deck, just to see how the way that the two planets together, so Uranus with Saturn, how they work together, Neptune with Uranus, how they work together, and so on and so forth. So you could also do it planetary wise as well, which would work. Now, this is the book. Let's just take cards away a moment. This is the book. So we get it. Actually, I haven't seen, unless it's at the back, a date for this. Oh, there we go. It's first edition 2004, so it's very old. Recommended reading, well, a lot of his own work, a lot of Paul Rowland's own work, some Kaplan. There we go. Those are the recommended reading list there at the back, if you're interested in that. The artist and designer, and the author. So, for each of the cards, you get a little explanation at the front. Let's go back. Get a little explanation at the back. A little quote from King Solomon from the Book of Proverbs. What the Kabbalah cards are. So, like I said, 33 cards, 11 major, 22 minor, which correspond to the paths. Then he's got these little diagrams here. So that shows where those Sephiroth are in combination with the body and the chakras. This is according to his own system. So we can use them for personal growth and greater self-awareness, for a visual aid, for meditation, for divination. The way of the Kabbalah. Now then, we have here the Tree of Life with all their positions on, which I actually have gone through. Then we have the lightning tree. So that the way that energy goes through the tree, the direction of that energy down to earth, so from heaven to earth. Principles of balance, so it doesn't do too much, but basically what it's talking about are the three pillars and the way that the Sephiroth are balanced on those two pillars, which is useful. Then we've got the four worlds, so that's a great way of seeing it, but it's pretty, I don't know how to put it on this page, but maybe you can see it there. I'll put it so you can read it. Hold on, I'll zoom out. There we go. So, the four worlds, explained quite briefly there. So, the world of action, formation, creation, emanation. This is how it corresponds to the tarot, although it doesn't actually go into it on there. A little bit about the Hebrew alphabet, and then some more diagrams. So here we have a diagram on the Tree of Life of the paths, and his assignment to those Sephiroth. So let's see. Well, we've got crown, yes, understanding, wisdom. Normally to see, well, I would see Gevurah as severity, being aligned to all the fives in the tarot deck, but here we've got judgment. In Hod, he's got reverberation, whereas I would normally see that as splendor. Netzach he's got as eternity, where I normally see that as victory. The rest are the same as I would normally see them. And this is where you can see the corresponding cards on the paths. So, key to the cards, and then the cards themselves. So, for the minor, what he calls the minor cards, which are the paths, he has then got the meanings, and they're very small. Let's zoom back in here. So for each one we've got the meaning of the Hebrew word. So Aleph is ox, and we've got the picture of the ox on the actual card. Bet is house, and so we see a house in the background, so on and so forth. And mental attributes, emotional qualities, and form of action. So that's what you get for each card. Nice colour picture for each card as well, which is nice. And then we have some sample spreads. 3-card spread with an example of that, and then a 7-card spread and an example of that, and a sample reading. Meditating using the major arcana cards is the next section. Then we go about archetypes of the psyche, and we start with Malkut. So as I said, he goes up the tree of life. So for instance, here we have Malkut, the kingdom. The card illustrates the fourth and final stage in the process of creation. Having had the desire to make a garden, the young woman drew up plans to define the form, determined which material she needs, and has now brought her idea into physical reality. During meditation, you may see a strong, healthy man or woman representing the physical world to confirm that you are at this first level of consciousness. For Yesod, we get a willful child or an ambitious prince representing the ego or persona. Hod, they're absolutely tiny, tiny little paragraph, and this is what you are meant to meditate with. That energy, the card. So then we go path working using the major arcana. A visualization. And one for each card. So it expands upon the initial meaning and gives you, for each one, a guided meditation. If you don't want to do one on your own, just with those, that little paragraph and the image. So one for each, which is great. Now this is where I've got a problem. And this is why I put the deck away and couldn't use it in the way I wanted to use it, and that's because the way that the author assigns the tarot onto the tree of life, and he gives an explanation of why he does this, but because it doesn't align with anything I've ever come across, I just got confused. To be honest, I can't do 2 systems, I can only do one. So if I can just bring that up, maybe you can see what I mean. Okay, so I'll just go through by using Robert Wang's book. See here in the Robert Wang book we can see where the kings and the queens, the princes and the princesses are on the tree of life, and where the number cards are of the minors. So this is the Kabbalistic Tarot by Robert Wang. And page 124. Now, most tarot decks that are based on the Thoth system, these are the cards that are assigned to the Tree of Life, in my experience, what I've seen. So for this path here is the Fool, whereas we have here the Empress. This one, Magician. Here we have Emperor. In fact, this diagram is so tiny, I find it really difficult to read it anyway. He's put the Magician here, where Dart would be. which is, so there we go, on page 77 we have Dark there, and that is about knowledge, the invisible Sephira. So it's actually assigned the magician to knowledge, which sort of makes sense actually. So you can see from that it's all completely different. I mean here, well, let's have a little look. What have we got there? The world, the universe, so that's the same. The tower here has become the lovers. Strength here has become temperance. Hierophant here has become, oh, can't even read it, justice. So as you can see, it's a completely different system based on his own beliefs, which is all very well, but not very helpful to me personally. So this is why I haven't used the cards in that respect, because I thought, well, what else is changed? And on my journey, when I got this deck 2004, a long time ago, I don't know if I bought it when it was first published, but certainly not long after, I would imagine, then I wouldn't have been far enough on my journey to know how to cope with that. You know, I got really confused with different ways of seeing the elements, for example, you know, the way some authors assigned fire and air to different suits in the tarot, so it all got a little bit confusing for me, and I actually put the whole lot away for quite a few years, because it was like, what? You know, what's right, what's wrong, where do I go with this? But now, yeah, I'm a lot further along, hopefully, anyway, after all these years. And so I know the system that I prefer to actually go with. But anyway, that's by the by. So, as promised, that is the Kabbalah Cards by Paul Rowland and Sylvie Gainsford. Paul Rowland being the author, Sylvie Gainsford being the artist. I'm not, as I said, I am not sure if this is still available. And the book I referenced here, Kabbalistic Tarot by Robert Wank. So anyway, hope that hasn't confused you as much as it confused me. It seriously did. But I'm going my way. And yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. Bye.